Well, I'm back from my cross-country trip where I was driving all the way to California and back, taking the southern route through Arches National Park to get there, and then the northern route up through Wyoming and the like, and through the Badlands yesterday. Well, anyway, it was over 4,000 miles, and I did it in 10 days. And, that's a lot of driving. A lot of it was very challenging driving, like up these winding roads that go up mountains, and, like things in cartoons where it just drops straight off the edge, and you got to keep going around one S after another. And if you decide in the middle of it, oh, this is a little too much, well, you have to keep going. But so I'm back, and after having the sun shining right in my eyes all of that time, I realized my whole head, my eyeballs feel sort of fried. But so I came into my office. It's a nice day here in Madison, Wisconsin. I love being back in Madison, Wisconsin. Got my car washed, got all the bugs washed off my car. There was one point in Wyoming where I stopped for gas, and I cleaned off the window. While I was filling up the tank, I cleaned off the windows really carefully to get all the little marks off the windows, so I could get a nice clear view for the rest of my drive as I drove another tank of gas down, which takes like close to 500 miles to do. And no sooner do I pull out of this parking lot in Wyoming, I forget where, and start back driving on Route 90, then just like a million bugs start swarming off of some, I don't know, cornfield, and splatter all over the window, and I had to just keep using the windshield washer fluid to try to, smear them away, and couldn't really quite do it, and used up all my car washing fluid, and anyway, the visual experience, so then there were bugs all over the car for the rest of the drive, very hard to get off, and I was glad to go to the car wash and get that cleaned off, which I did this morning. So obviously I'm off to a bit of a slow start. I'm in my office. I'm trying to get things together. Fall semester isn't that far away, but I'm feeling rather fried. Like my eyeballs my retinas. I feel retinally diminished. But I got in to check what was in the mailbox. Was just stuffed full of things. So what's in the mailbox? I was glad to see that I got my new copy of the book I'm using to teach some civil procedure in the fall. I teach the second half of civil procedure, which here means all kinds of jurisdiction stuff, and Erie doctrine. You know what that means if you're a lawyer. It's fun stuff. I'm looking forward to it. I also got a copy of, check it out, Why Mommy is a Democrat. I blogged about this a while back, and the guy who wrote it, Jeremy Zilber, sent me a copy of it. I guess he noticed he got some traffic from the blog. Propaganda for kids. What, shouldn't there be propaganda for kids? Or are all those children's books propaganda? And it's just a little harder to detect. At least Jeremy Zilber is totally in your face about the propaganda. Democrats make sure we are nice to people who are different, just like Mommy does. And Mommy's a squirrel. If you know about me, I'm not fond of squirrels. And the Democrats, so the Democrat Mommy is a squirrel. And then in the background we keep seeing these characters who are obviously supposed to be Republicans, like they're very snooty, and there's this poor guy sitting on a park bench, right, while get it up here. Right, we keep seeing this poor guy on the park bench, and meanwhile, like, people walk by him. They're like, they're the Republicans. They don't care. They're snooty. Like, look at this woman. Not only does she have her nose in the air, she's carrying a poodle, right? A poodle, people with poodles. They're snooty rich people. And into the iconography of this rather crudely designed book. Sorry, Jeremy. Thanks for sending me the book. But Democrats make sure no one fights, just like Mommy does. See, Mommy the squirrel. Did your mother make sure nobody fought in your family? You know how she's so good at doing that. I think what Mommy doesn't want anyone to ever fight. Whether she's actually successful in keeping people from fighting, that's really another question altogether. See this guy in the background. He's reading a newspaper. It says war. Anyway, so the book goes on and on like this. And at one point, an elephant walks by, and you see that. And then here's the guy on the park bench. The elephant walks by and crushes his park bench. Democrats make sure we are always safe, just like Mommy does. Again, Mommy wants you to be safe, but does she make sure you're always safe? If that were the case, nothing bad would ever happen to a child. But Mommy wants you to be safe. Like Daddy doesn't. Daddy doesn't want you to be safe. Well, he's like, you know, you're fend for yourself, you know. Be tough. And then we see the elephant walking away from the wrecked bench, right? Democrats make sure we clean up our messes just like Mommy does. Right. As opposed to Daddy. Daddy's all, oh, you messed up your room? Well, then you're just going to have to live in it like that. But Mommy's like, you know, clean up your mess. She's got paper towels. Like, hey, this is like the environmentalism page, right? But I see she's using paper towels. Isn't that wasteful? And then there's also a page where she makes sure that everyone is treated fairly. And what we see is she's giving the kids, the squirrel kids, chocolate chip cookies. Well, what about the whole, is that really right? Chocolate chip cookies, they're going to get fat, the obesity problem. Doesn't Mommy make sure that we eat healthy food? Anyway. And notice the poodle in the background again. These are the bad people. These are the Republicans. They've got a poodle. And they don't care. They're walking right by a man on a park bench. They don't care. And like little birdies. Let's check it out. Oh, I keep doing this wrong because I'm looking at something that's not a mirror. The little birdies are surrounding Mommy because she's so wonderful. Wouldn't it be cool if when Democrats are out campaigning, little green birds fluttered around their heads so that you would know they were good? Well, speaking of books and children's books, did you notice that I'm guest blogging over on Instapundit, and which is a little crazy to be doing this week when I'm also trying to drive and I'm fried and I have my little retinal diminishment and so on. One of the things I blogged about this morning over on Instapundit was a new book by Lisa Tucker McElroy about John Roberts, you know, and it's a book for kids, you know, so it's like, oh, John Roberts, his favorite color is green, look at his kids, he likes Hershey's Kisses, and, you know, I have a book by Lisa Tucker McElroy, as long as we're speaking about things for kids. Check it out. Isn't that nice? Meet My Grandmother, she's a Supreme Court Justice. It's a book about Sandra Day O'Connor. So, you know, political books for kids, law books for kids. Why wouldn't you, you know, obviously this would be a great book to get for your kid if you wanted them to become interested in law and maybe try to become a judge or a Supreme Court judge or something like that. And it's fun for us law profs to just look and see some cute pictures of Sandra Day O'Connor. Like here she is doing her aerobics class. I think that's kind of cool. Let's see what else she does in this book. She hangs out with her granddaughter and goes and sees some statues and things like that. Oops, and I'm just throwing it up. I'm throwing my valuable book on the floor. Well, what else do I have for you here? Just since I'm in my office and I'm showing you things about famous political women, I want to show you this cool button that I have. Can you see it? It's about Jackie Kennedy. Isn't that nice? It says, Jacqueline Kennedy, Supersonic First Lady of USA. Do you have one of these? Supersonic First Lady of USA. I love that. This was some trip she did to some South American country, I forget which, but they made up this button. And, or this is a poster maybe that they had, and they considered her supersonic. Well, I'm trying to be supersonic here on the internet with this vlogging, but again, I'm completely fried, so I'm not in really good condition to do a vlog, but I just wanted to check in and, you know, give you some more bloggage for your See, I'm at a loss. I'm at a complete loss for words. Time for me to rest my eyes, read some kids' books, and get my life back in order, back home here in Madison, Wisconsin.